What if I told you that the hardest player to guard in the NBA today isn't just the strongest or the most skilled, but the fastest thinker, the quickest decision maker, the one who attacks before you even realize what's happening? In a league obsessed with size, strength, and three-point shooting, Tyrese Maxey has become a living paradox. A guard who doesn't ask for permission, doesn't slow down, and doesn't wait for the game to come to him. He forces the game to keep up with him. In 2020, 20 teams passed on him in the draft. In 2024, he won the NBA's Most Improved Player award, jumped to nearly 26 points per game, and became the offensive engine of a legitimate title contender. But the real question isn't just, how did he get here? It's, why does the modern game seem tailor-made for Tyrese Maxey? Before we dive into that, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and comment below. Do you think Maxey is already a top 5 point guard in the NBA? Because the story you're about to hear explains exactly why that debate shouldn't even exist anymore. Tyrese Maxey entered the NBA carrying a dangerous label: good but limited. 1. Good athlete, good energy, good character, but not quite what scouts consider a star. In the 2020 draft, his name kept sliding as if something was missing. They said he was too small to finish at the rim, that his jumper was inconsistent, that he was more of a combo guard than a true point guard. In a class full of uncertainty, Maxey fell to the 21st overall pick, selected by the Philadelphia 76ers more as a project than a pillar. And that detail matters, because from day one, Tyrese Maxey played like someone who knew exactly what it felt like to be overlooked. That mindset started long before the NBA. In Garland, Texas, Maxey grew up around basketball, but without the shine of a generational prodigy. His father, Tyrone Maxey, was a former college player and coach, someone who understood the game not as spectacle, but as daily discipline. Tyrese wasn't raised to dominate highlight reels. He was raised to survive on the court. At Kentucky, under John Calipari, he didn't have a free-flowing role. He shared responsibilities, played out of position at times, and still showed something that doesn't show up in box scores. He doesn't slow down under pressure. If anything, chaos makes him sharper. When he arrived in Philadelphia, the situation couldn't have been more unforgiving. A roster built around Joel Embiid, a franchise desperate for results, and a fan base known for having zero patience. Maxey didn't arrive as a savior. He arrived as a supporting piece. And that's exactly where his story started to shift. Instead of forcing the spotlight, he absorbed everything. He watched, he worked, he reshaped his body, he refined his shooting mechanics, he sharpened his reads. While many young players try to prove themselves loudly, Maxey did it by running harder, working earlier, and making fewer mistakes every month. The turning point came in the 2021 playoffs. Still young, still unproven, Maxey delivered fearless performances against the Atlanta Hawks, attacking the rim without hesitation, even against bigger defenders and under intense pressure. That wasn't recklessness, it was instinct. An instinct that said, if there's space, I'm taking it. Slowly, coaches and teammates realized this kid wasn't just energy, he was efficiency in motion. The irony is that everything once seen as a weakness became a weapon. He didn't need to be a traditional floor general because his speed forced defenses to react. He didn't need size because he reached the rim before help could arrive. He didn't need media hype because his impact showed up on the scoreboard. As the NBA continued to speed up, Tyrese Maxey was already playing at that pace. The overlooked became essential. The project became a certainty. And maybe most importantly, Maxey never forgot what it felt like to be doubted. That chip on his shoulder shaped not just his game, but his mentality. He plays every possession like he's still trying to prove he belongs. And ironically, that's exactly what turned him into someone who now dictates the pace of the game. Because while trends change, one thing never does. Players who play hungry usually go further than those who play on talent alone. If there's one trait that truly defines Tyrese Maxey and makes entire defenses collapse, it's not just raw speed. It's the rare combination of explosive acceleration and instant decision-making. Maxey isn't fast in a straight line. He's fast in his first step, fast in his reads, and fast in execution. That creates chaos in the modern NBA, where fractions of a second decide possessions. When he gets the ball, defenders have exactly one moment to react. Blink, and he's already gone. Maxey's first step might be the most underrated in the league. He doesn't need fancy dribble combos or long hesitations. One sharp move, and a set defense turns into a chase. This becomes even more lethal in transition, where Maxey acts like pure momentum. While teams are still scrambling to get organized, he's already at the rim or collapsing the defense to create open shots. He doesn't allow the game to slow down, he forces urgency. What truly separates Maxey from other fast guards, though, is that his speed comes with control. Over time, he's learned when to go full throttle and when to weaponize the threat of speed itself. Defenders now retreat earlier, afraid of getting blown by, and that's when Maxey punishes them with pull-up jumpers. What used to be seen as an inconsistent shot has become a reliable weapon. The result is an impossible dilemma for defenses. Step up, he blows past you. Back off, he shoots. Help comes, he finds the open man. The numbers back it up. Maxey has become one of the most efficient players in the league attacking closeouts and one of the most dangerous guards in transition. But beyond the stats, there's a psychological effect. Defenders start anticipating disaster. They shift early. They hesitate. And in the NBA, hesitation is everything. They take half a step back. And in the NBA, half a step is all Maxey needs. He plays constantly on the edge of defensive error, exploiting every tiny gap as if it were an open lane. This style fits perfectly in today's NBA, where the floor is more spaced, defenses switch more often, and help comes from farther away. Maxey is the kind of player who punishes even the smallest breakdown. He doesn't need the defense to completely collapse. All it takes is a miscommunication, a foot slightly out of place, a late closeout. The result is almost always the same. An advantage created, the defense scrambling, points on the board. In the end, Tyrese Maxey's speed isn't just an athletic trait, it's a conceptual weapon. He plays faster than defenses can think. And in a league where everyone is big, strong, and skilled, the ones who think and act first usually win. Maxey understood that before almost everyone else. That's why, when he accelerates, the game always seems one step behind. Playing alongside an NBA MVP can either accelerate a career or suffocate it, and the difference usually lies in the ability to coexist without disappearing. Tyrese Maxey didn't just survive next to Joel Embiid. He found the perfect environment to elevate his game. From early on, it was clear that Maxey wouldn't be the type of guard who lives in the shadow of a dominant big man. He became the ideal complement, someone who understands that sharing the spotlight doesn't mean giving it up. It means expanding it. The pick and roll between Maxey and Embiid quickly became one of the hardest actions to defend in the league. Not because it's flashy, but because it's precise. Maxey learned to read every defensive micro-adjustment. When defenders step up too high to stop his speed, he hits Embiid on the short roll. When the opposing center drops to protect the rim, Maxey attacks aggressively. When help comes from the weak side, the ball swings to the open shooter. That level of maturity didn't come by accident. It's the product of repetition, trust, and above all, respect. Embiid has never hidden his trust in Maxey. And for a young guard, hearing that from an MVP changes everything. The freedom Maxey gained wasn't just tactical, it was emotional. He began playing without fear of making mistakes, understanding that his aggressiveness was a strength, not a flaw. That confidence showed in big moments, when the ball didn't always stay in Embiid's hands, but found Maxey attacking with conviction. In those moments, he didn't hesitate. He took over. When James Harden left, many believed the burden would be too heavy for Maxey. The opposite happened. Without a dominant ball handler beside him, Maxey was forced to expand his creative responsibilities, and Embiid adjusted accordingly. Their chemistry evolved into something almost instinctive. A glance, a subtle shift, a read, and the play unfolds. It's basketball in its purest form, where talent and understanding merge. What's most impressive is that Maxey never tried to imitate the traditional point guards who came before him in Philadelphia. He didn't slow the game down or become a methodical orchestrator. He stayed true to who he is. The offense began to flow around his speed, while Embiid became the gravitational force pulling defenders inward. Together, they formed a rare balance, explosion and power coexisting with finesse and control. This partnership also reshaped Maxey's leadership. He doesn't lead with speeches or theatrics. He leads by running harder, pushing the pace, and attacking relentlessly. Embiid responds with dominance and presence. When one falters, the other lifts the load. When defenses collapse on one, the other makes them pay. In that dynamic, Maxey evolved from a promising young player into a pillar of the franchise's identity. Ultimately, the chemistry between Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid is more than an effective on-court pairing. It's proof that stars don't need to compete with each other to shine. Sometimes they just need to understand each other's space. And when that happens, the game becomes unstoppable. If Maxi's speed jumps off the screen and his chemistry with Embiid shows up in the box score, the real transformation happens away from the spotlight. Talent explains the beginning, but it doesn't sustain the climb. What took Maxi from a late draft pick to an all-star wasn't just what he does in games, but the obsessive way he approaches the work. Teammates and coaches tell the same story. Maxi is one of the first in the gym and one of the last to leave. Not out of obligation, but by choice. There's something rare about Maxi's mindset for someone who rose so quickly. He doesn't act like a star. He doesn't carry himself like someone who's arrived. If anything, he behaves like someone who still has everything to prove. After bad games, he doesn't hide. He goes back to the court. He re-watches possessions. He fine-tunes his footwork, his release point, his decision-making. That attention to detail is what separates athletic players from dominant ones. One of the clearest examples of his growth is his shooting. Early in his career, it was the biggest question mark. Instead of ignoring the criticism, he absorbed it. He worked with coaches, rebuilt mechanics, strengthened his base, and adjusted his release. The result wasn't just a higher percentage, it was confidence. Today, Maxi shoots, knowing the defense respects him, and when a defense respects you, your entire game opens up. But perhaps his greatest edge lies in his emotional makeup. Maxi plays with joy, a constant smile, contagious energy, and an ability to lift the people around him. That's not naivety, it's emotional intelligence. In a league where pressure and ego crush young talents every year, Maxi seems insulated. He understands that playing at a high level doesn't require losing your love for the game, and that makes him dangerous. This mindset shows up in his leadership as well. Maxi doesn't demand attention, he earns it. When younger players arrive, they see him working. When the team struggles, they see him attack harder. Leadership in his case isn't spoken, it's demonstrated. Embiid himself has said that Maxi's energy changes the locker room, and that kind of impact doesn't show up in the box score. There's also a humility that's hard to ignore. Even after awards and recognition, Maxi still talks about improvement, about flaws, about what he needs to fix. He doesn't see himself as a finished product. He sees himself as a work in progress. That mindset creates something dangerous for the league, a player who keeps getting better on purpose. In the end, Tyrese Maxey didn't become dynamic just because he's fast or shoots well. He became dynamic because he combines work ethic, emotional balance, and relentless hunger. In a league full of talent, those who carry that combination tend to go the farthest, and all signs suggest that Maxey is only getting started. The NBA has always moved in cycles. There was the era of cerebral floor generals, then the age of unstoppable scorers, and now we live in a moment where the game demands versatility, speed, and instant decision-making. Tyrese Maxey seems to have been built exactly for this era. He's not just a traditional point guard, nor is he a predictable combo guard. He's a hybrid, a reflection of modern basketball at its purest, attacking before the defense is set and punishing every mistake with maximum efficiency. Maxey represents a new archetype, a player who doesn't need to dominate the ball to control the game, yet influences every possession he's part of. He runs, spaces the floor, finishes, shoots, and creates advantages without the offense revolving entirely around him. That makes him incredibly difficult to neutralize in long playoff series, where defensive adjustments are constant. While some stars depend on volume, Maxey thrives on rhythm, and rhythm, once established, is almost impossible to disrupt. Looking across the league, it's clear that young guards are being shaped by the same blueprint: explosion, quick processing, and relentless aggression. But few execute it with the natural flow that Maxey does. If the future of the position belongs to players who can operate at full speed without sacrificing efficiency, then Tyrese Maxey isn't just part of that future. He's one of its defining faces. Tyrese Maxey isn't just fast. He's inevitable, underrated, forged through work, and driven by hunger. He represents a brand of basketball that doesn't wait for permission to take over. If the NBA is moving forward, Maxey is already there, sprinting ahead.